All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION. This hour, India's External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar is likely to have a pull-aside meeting with the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on the sidelines of the East Asia Summit. Now, foreign ministers are meeting today in Bangkok. Jaishankar will be in Bangkok from today and tomorrow and will be participating in the ASEAN-India ministerial meeting and also the 10th Mekong-Ganga Cooperation ministerial meeting. Now, the meet is especially a high-stakes one since this is the first time that the two leaders will be meeting after Trump's controversial comments on mediating over the Kashmir issue. Now, earlier this month, remember, Donald Trump had stated that he had in fact been invited by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to mediate over Kashmir, and this was a claim that was outrightly rejected by India. And Donald Trump had said that this offer was in fact made to him on the sidelines of the Osaka G20 summit. Now, the president's claim, remember, has been strongly refuted by the Indian side. It was in fact S Jaishankar who led the charge within the parliament, speaking on the floor of India's Lok Sabha. S Jaishankar had said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had not made any such request whatsoever to Donald Trump, and that all issues between India and Pakistan will remain bilateral and will be guided by the Shimla and the Lahore agreement. All right, now for more on this, we're joined in by my colleague Siddhant Sibil. Siddhant, this of course is an interesting and an important pull-aside that is expected to happen between the two foreign ministers. Will the issue of Donald Trump having stated that he was offered by Prime Minister Narendra Modi if he wanted to come and mediate on the Kashmir issue, do you think this will even be discussed?
Well, by and large, the American side and the Indian side, after Trump's comments on Kashmir, had a discussion, but that was, of course, on phone call, not face-to-face, and there was clarification issued by the State Department itself. Remember the tweet by the State Department after the comments by Donald Trump, clearly saying that Kashmir is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. But this is something that will be face-to-face, is also expected to be discussed, because this is something that, of course, irked the Indian officials here in New Delhi. But by and large, this pull-aside, which is expected to happen, will also focus on other issues, whether it's trade, whether it's Indo-Pacific. Remember, the main focus of the US side, Secretary Pompeo's visit to Bangkok will be to focus on Indo-Pacific concept, because increasingly ASEAN has been focusing on that. They came out with papers also yesterday when the ASEAN foreign ministers met. In the final communique, Indo-Pacific was mentioned, and ASEAN knows that this is a concept that can help the region a lot, and we know that New Delhi and Washington consider themselves as bookend of this concept, and both have been trying to make sure that this concept gains currency. So that is expected to be one of the main priorities when the Indian External Affairs Minister has a pull-aside with the Secretary of United States, Mike Pompeo. This is the second meeting between both the leaders, face-to-face meeting between both the leaders, because remember, Secretary Pompeo visited New Delhi just before that big meeting in Osaka. He was here in New Delhi for 3 days. In fact, he was the first high-profile American official to visit India after the re-election of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Absolutely, indeed. And also considering the fact that S Jaishankar was a former foreign secretary, how has he changed? What kind of an imprint has he left on India's foreign policy?
Well, of course, now the basic focus here in his tenure, in his innings as the External Affairs Minister, will be on making sure that India gets more and more leverage in the entire, not only in the region, but also around the world, and of course engagement with the P5 nations, United States, France, Russia, China, and other countries, including Britain. But we also know that Jaishankar will be increasingly, he is a person who has come out from the system and knows the system very well. So that is why Jaishankar will have this ease in doing work in the system as well, because bureaucracy is something that helps you, but also stops you when you are taking a crucial decision. So he, of course, his first speech at a conference here in New Delhi focused on how New Delhi should not align, but also make sure that the national interest should be kept in the forefront. That will be something really important. But I would like to add something on Pompeo's visit. He is going to take part in a trilateral with Australia, Japan. This will be a trilateral between US, Australia and Japan, and the outcome will be something that will be impacting the Indo-Pacific concept.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll be looking at that very closely. Thank you very much indeed for the time being, Siddhant Sibbal, for joining us and getting us all those updates. And